You may have noticed construction around Waubonsie Lake. Despite the ability to attract visitors, the lake was in dire need of help.
Dredging really restores the vitality of the lake. It makes the ecosystem better. Every time there's a storm or there's runoff, a lot of settlement comes down into the lake, and there's no way for it to get moved out. So it builds and builds and builds, and what happened was the sunlight has an easier time penetrating the lake, which leads to nuisance algae, which we've had out here for a number of years, where midsummer the lake didn't even look like a lake. It was just green muck, and that was due just because the lake was so shallow that promoted the algae growth. So the lake went from being 20 feet deep to eventually about 6 feet deep, just because of the buildup of sediment. So at that point, that's when the Park District and the City of Aurora realized that to preserve this lake and restore it as a recreational destination that it is, and supports this great community, that they needed to dredge it.
Even though the crane has been working for a few months, the actual project is far from over.
We're going on 4 years of planning, and the project itself will take about 12 months. And what they're going to do with that compost is put it on the sled hill that's behind us here at Waubonsie Lake. You look around the lakes here, you see how it's not mowed down to the edge. And we used to call that grow, don't mow. People would call up and say, what's the Park District doing? You guys are lazy. You're not mowing down to the edge of the lake. Well, what those do, those are called buffer strips. Those filter the water before it drains back into the lake. So it keeps a lot of the sediment out for the health and vitality of the lake.
For Warrior Update, I'm Olivia Macris.